Time being 7:05, I call the Halifax Planning Board into session. All members here except for Mark Milius. On the agenda, we have a hearing continued for file 951 for 914 Plymouth Street. It's 7:15. We have continuation for 314 for site plan. 7:30, we have 655, 657 Monpont Street, Twin Liquors, site plan review. 8 p.m., we have Steve and Janice Haywood, Form A, the intersection of Elm and Furnace. Discussion, we have Josh Liddell, Walmart, Richard Harrison, pasture lane status, subdivision control regs, Chapter 235, 6C, A&R. Bills, we have Amory Engineering. We have minutes for August 19th, September 2nd, and then we have various correspondence. Do I have a motion to...
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as read.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, the continuation of the hearing. That was a public hearing, so we'll need to open that, and then they're not coming in, they're doing an extension. Or actually,
Withdrawal.
they were doing a withdrawal, right?
They withdrew.
They just withdrew the,
And it reapplied, it's already been withdrawn. So it's ready for-
all right, so we don't need to open that then.
Is it going to be both of those special permit and site plan on October 7th?
Okay,
They also have,
an extension.
well, they also have a letter in here that says, planning board, to the planning board, read the site plan 314 Plymouth Street. It was written on September 10th, 2021. On behalf of Emile Boussier Jr. of True Storage, we would like to withdraw without prejudice the application for a special permit under 167-7D that was submitted to the board and was scheduled to be heard on September 16th, 2021. Our application misstated the size of the proposed building, as we only included the footprint of 24,784 square feet instead of including the area of additional upper floors. We are filing a new application for your review. So it looks like it's going to be more square footage.
Okay, so then what we need to do is we have to have a motion to allow them to withdraw without prejudice.
Okay. I'll make a motion to allow the site plan for 314 Plymouth Street.
I don't think it's a site plan, it's a
Sorry.
special permit.
Oh, right. I will make a motion to allow True Storage to
Withdraw.
withdraw without prejudice the special permit under 167-7D that was submitted to the board.
Okay, I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So then we have some bills. Hey, Tina.
I'll read them up. Make a motion to pay Armory Engineers invoice number 15669 for 5 hours of engineering services on 314 Plymouth Street in the amount of $760.
Second.
Is motion seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. was the only bill?
Yep.
Joanne, for the extension, for 314, is it,
It's already been posted for October 7th.
Yeah, but- was this up to us to determine the days?
If you want to, like, the amount of days you want to extend that for, it's up to you.
And they're scheduled for what day? Sorry.
October 7th. So they want to do both together.
So the extension will be for the site plan.
Don't worry.
Let me check the date. So the site plan is to the 21st, right?
Oh, that's when we extended it to the last time.
So we need to extend it to October, so that's October 7th, so.
What day was it extended to?
The
I have it on
21st.
October 7th. So they're
But
gonna
it
do
was
both the
extended.
site plan and this permit on October 7th.
And that's our meeting?
Yeah.
That's the next week.
Is that beyond our next meeting, or is it? the-
No. I think that our meeting's next month, the 6th and the 20th in October, so we should extend it to the 24th, October
Seventh.
24th.
It's the 7th
The
and the 20th.
meeting is
Oh,
the
7th and
the meeting
20th, sorry,
No,
sorry.
Because
Right.
this is for the special permit, so
Right, so
we don't need to get an extension for this because it hasn't come in yet. Because they withdrew this one, right?
and reapply.
Right, but, so it'll be it's a whole new start.
Right,
So,
all right, okay,
so we wouldn't be extending that,
But just for the site plan.
but the site plan would need an extension.
I need to read this.
But we could do that at our next meeting.
Yep.
So maybe we request them to,
Yeah, okay, sorry. Request them.
to do an extension for the site plan. And we can sign it at our next meeting,
Okay.
because it already, right now, the extension already goes beyond our next meeting.
No, only goes to the 21st of September.
September?
Yeah. I can look at my notes
The
from,
21st, right, I'm thinking.
because we were gonna see them both on the,
What's today's date?
today's the 16th. He did sign something, remember? It was like, I forget what day it was.
They did sign it to the 21st,
Of September, correct?
right.
Let's extend it to the 24th of October.
So we're gonna need an extension from them until October for the site plan.
Yes.
Can you ask them for that?
I will ask them for that.
Is that not the right thing?
No, it was for the,
They need
That
to
was-
give it to us for by the 21st though.
right, means 21st.
Today's the 16th, so that's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I'll email him in the morning.
So the Thursday. Thursday would be enough, but unless you don't.
Well, the 24th, only because of the 24th of October would be preferable, just because it's not open on,
It's a Sunday.
oh, is it the 26th then, that I was thinking of?
October, the next, this is the 7th and the 21st, the meetings in October.
Mm-hmm.
But the extension we have right now won't make it to our next meeting
Right.
for the site plan.
Right. It's the 21st of September.
So we need them, I'll email them first thing in the morning and get it signed until the 26th of October. Makes sense?
Yep.
Is everybody all right with that?
Yep.
See you on the 27th.
Yeah, whatever the 26th is, because then that gives you time to make to write a decision if we have it.
Extension for site plan, correct?
Yeah. Did everybody read the minutes?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Good with them?
I don't think I can make a motion because I was.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes for August 19th, 2021 as read.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's motion seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye, sorry.
And then September 2nd?
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes as written for September 2nd, 2021.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I received we got a few minutes to start the discussions. I received a call from Josh Liddell today that he can't make it tonight, that he doesn't have the calcs from the engineer yet, and he'd like to be put on for the next meeting.
You want to go to the next meeting?
Yes. Walmart.
He didn't know if he could make this meeting on the next, so he asked me to do one, this one, and he wasn't here.
You make it to the next one? Okay. Richard Harrison, Arnold Ware. I did try reaching out to him. I haven't made contact with him yet. And that was, we were just asking what was going on over there.
There's a letter in here
Yeah, to him.
from him too.
Maybe it was an email.
An email from him
Yeah.
that states, oh, do you want to read it?
Okay, go ahead.
This is regarding map 73-7A-0 on Plymouth Street. We sent out notification to find out what was going on as far as drainage and site clearing on a commercial lot in Halifax, and the response was, "Hi Joanne, thank you for informing me. I got a notice, I believe, before, but it came late in the mail. I'm a trucker. I'm away for 7 or 8 days at a time. I won't be able to attend that tomorrow night, unfortunately. I don't have anybody to represent myself. I'm not sure what it's about. Can anybody tell me? I just purchased the land in March, cleared the brush, moved some dirt around, trying to create a plot plan for a garage to house and maintain my equipment so I can submit to the town to get okay to build. Curious why would be in discussion when I haven't done anything yet. If you or somebody could let me know, that would be great. I hope it's nothing negative. Thanks for letting me know about the meeting. I won't be back until next Monday. If you have any info, please let me know. Arnie."
So I had reached out to him, left a message, and I'll just tell him that we were looking to see what was going on there. Pasture Lane, we had an inquiry from Stephanie. And I tried calling her as well, left a message. I have not spoken with John Paquette for 2 weeks now. He was gonna get back to me and let me know what was going on. I left another message for him.
Okay. What did we decide about town council on that?
Well, we had talked about pursuing that, and then he had reached out and said that they were gonna do something, so I kind of dropped it. I can get in touch with him if you want. You wanna pursue that?
I think that we need to do something for the residents on that street. Hello.
I can see if I can have town council come in for the next meeting and talk about it.
Okay.
All right.
Do we have enough time on the next meeting, or should we?
Well, I mean, I don't, he may be able to call in or something, you know?
Okay.
All right. We got correspondence, everybody take a look at that.
Yeah, we have a letter here from Jason Viveros, sent Friday the 3rd of September about Halifax Meadows installing some parking in the rotary that may impact the access for large fire apparatus. There's a question on whether or not spaces approved in the original site plan and if they were along the outside or the inside of the rotary. They also painted designated trash pickup areas inside the rotary. They said the trash should be left on the grass and not on the asphalt, and if that's the case, should not impact access. I instructed Halifax Meadows Management to contact the planning board for approval of the changes they are proposing or have already implemented. Once they formally submit something, I'll provide feedback to the board. Thanks, Jason Viveros. We have an evaluation too for the ADA. The special town meeting was continued from September 8th till September 21st at 7 o'clock. Please come. Again, that's September 21st at 7 o'clock at the Halifax Elementary School. We also have response from 416 about the site plan. And Tracy Picciolelli, P-I-T-O-C-C-H-E-L-L-I, I think that's how you'd say it, has sent you a message via your contact. She said, we just received your letter requesting an updated site plan for 416 Plymouth Street. We are waiting for our updated site plan from the engineers. Once they receive it, they'll hopefully get it to us. And can they just send us the updated site plan, or do they need to come in and modify it? I would think they'd need to come in and modify it, right? Am I wrong?
This is,
416, so it's Rockland Trust.
oh yeah, okay. It would be good if they came in.
I would think that they'd need to do a modification if they changed things. Can we have Joanne email them that they need to put in for a site plan modification?
Yep. That agreeable with the board?
Good with me.
Can you email Tracy and ask her for a thank you?
Okay. Quite 7:30 yet.
I would take it that we didn't hear back from the other ones that we motioned on last meeting. 0 Monpont Street, map 95, lot 6. And what was the other one? Oh, we heard from the other two, right? There was 3.
That was a request of the building inspector, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yeah, I sent you the two,
right.
the 2 memos, and I said that after you approve those, that I would send them to him. So I showed, I emailed you the 2 memos that I had brought up for the building inspector.
Okay.
I didn't hear back from you, but I said I'll send them to the building inspector so we can do that.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to look at the copy?
If you wouldn't mind.
So this,
And I take it that we haven't heard from Sean Boostrom of Walmart?
We did.
Yeah, there's a correspondence. in there.
For this one, he doesn't.
Thanks, sorry I missed that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's just a copy of the two of us, I guess.
You set with that?
And then we're just sending out to get information on, we voted last meeting to have this happen.
Okay.
Okay. 7:30, if you guys wanna, you ready?
Okay. So I have to open.
No, it's not up. Okay,
You guys
time
up?
being 7:30, 6:55, 6:57 on Ponce Street. And I'll recuse myself.
Start with what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Okay. So while we're getting set up, I'd like to address the letter that Ms. Doherty submitted. So I would like to go on record personally to you to say that based on a lack of experience, being new to the board, I misunderstood the conversation that was having, which led to a deeper conversation that was not proper on my behalf, and so I would like to retract my statements that were directed towards you, and also offer my apology in hopes that you'll accept them and we can move on professionally.
Absolutely, Brendan.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
I was actually going to start out by saying sort of tongue in cheek. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm very happy to see you.
Happy to be here.
You heard what happened last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all's well that ends well. As far as I'm concerned, that's the end of it.
Very good.
Appreciate it.
Do you want your own, Rick?
Yeah.
Or do you-
Because this is no, that's.
So the site plan that you're looking at was originally prepared by Webby Engineering when we had to do the upgrade to the septic system. So when he went out and surveyed the whole site, got contours, meets and bounds, and all that kind of stuff, and the location of the building. So what I did following our meeting on the 17th of June, remember Amy and I had talked about, well, I mean, I could redo this, but rather than do that, I just went to Webby, and I asked her to add notes on the drawings. So, why don't I just let you guys see this one? I just highlighted basically the only difference between what was originally.
Excuse me, is it possible for a plan to be put out for the other people to see? 'Cause
Yes.
they don't see this one.
Add the notes. But this is the liquor store. This is the existing storage area. And it does have the potential in the future to become some kind of tenant space. What that is or could be at this point, we don't know. The retail marijuana store is, as far as I'm concerned, still a very hypothetical project. And all I can say right now is that that's what it's being used for. It could be used for a retail store. And until we know what it's going to be used for, we can't design any parking, any lighting, any ins and outs and all that kind of stuff. So that's the site plan. If you've got any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
And to my misunderstanding last time that led to our exchange was that if we signed off on this, then anything that went in there would be basically grandfathered in, which that isn't the case. So whatever ends up going in there, we would have to be brought back in for parking and lighting and all that other stuff to get approved for whatever goes in there.
Well, with the exception then with it, I mean, obviously, and it's a big if at this point, everybody knows it's a big if it's a retail cannabis store, they have to get a special permit.
Right.
So absolutely we have to come back in. But let's say that the marijuana store doesn't happen for whatever reason. It could be an ice cream shop.
Right.
I have a client who's looking to open a bar in town somewhere. It could be a bar, it could be a bicycle repair shop, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But yes, if it's something that's not allowed as a matter of right, you would have to come back in here. And you may still have to do, if it was a matter of right, it won't be a special permit, but it would still mean you have to come in for a site plan.
Right.
So I understand that, and I'm sure others will as well. So I think if you're comfortable with what you've seen so far, we can get to the more sort of pressing issue, which is Rick Brown is the light.
Right. Yeah.
So,
This is, do you have this? Yeah.
Is this, what you're proposing to change what you have now to?
no,
Okay.
no. The way we didn't really get a chance to explain this, which is what we call a photometric analysis of these specific light fixtures. I had done a basic plan, but I didn't have the first sheet, this one, and Jim was able to get this. This is the first sheet, as best I can explain it, shows that if we have this light fixture, which is the one we've got, that's up in the top left-hand corner, and ours are mounted at 9 feet above grade, which this is, and they show the foot candles that you're dealing with as you go further away from the building. You know, the first half circle, if we call it that, is 5 foot candles. The next one is 2, the next one is 1, and the most outer one is 0.5 foot candles. So if you go to the next sheet, which is the plan, and this is at a larger scale. So I show the light fixtures. Yeah. So the first area, which is kind of highlighted in yellow, from the edge of the building out to about 12 feet, do you see over on the right hand side? That's all 5 foot candles. The next area that is shaded in kind of pink is 2 foot candles, which comes out to about 17 feet away from the building, as you'll see on that plan. The final one is a half a foot candle. Sorry, the second last was a half a foot candle, which is about 18 or 19 feet out from the face of the building, and the last one is a quarter of a foot candle. And if you stand at the quarter of a foot candle line there, there's another 46 feet to the property line. So what we're trying to show here, and I believe we do, is that the light does not leave the property. And let me reference, just for, maybe you will recall this, but when you were doing the site plan review for the Flower and Soul, I was watching those hearings, or those meetings, to educate myself really. But one of the last things that they had to do was produce a drawing, and they did. And Mark, I believe at the time, was the one who said, so you've proved that the light does not leave the property. Now that does not mean to say that you cannot see the light from an adjacent property. Of course you can. But these are the most low-key light fixtures. They're full cut-off. So they're pointing down. They're not really. Now, do they shine? Of course they do. But our position, with all due respect to Adam and Nicole, is this is a commercial building. It's a use that is allowed to operate until, 11 p.m. at night? And for safety and security reasons, it's got to be lit. And it's unfortunate that there are houses all around us, but they knew this is still a commercially zoned district. And this use is allowed as a matter of right.
Right.
And I don't know, I've gone back and forth on this to try and think about what else we could do. And honestly, there's not a lot more that we can do. It's not like you can change the light bulbs in these things. It's an LED fixture. It's either on or off. It can't be dimmed. It's either on or off. And
They are dark sky compliant.
which means what? Explain that in
Dark sky means no light shines up. These are specifically designed as full cutoff to have a determined throw out from the source of light. So they also have what's called the reflectance, which is the light that reflects off the side of the building that goes out. But it's not as strong as the light that's driven by the lights. Anytime you can see a light from a long way away, but the light doesn't throw that far. I'm sure you've all been in a plane when you're landing in Logan on the approach. You see all the street lights and you see pods of light. Well, you can't see the lights because they're shining down. That's what Dark Sky Initiative is. They don't want lights going up to ruin the starlight. So, of course, you're going to see lighting on the ground. A lot of that is determined by engineers how far it's up, how far it's going to go, and that's what this model light is maxed up with the throw. So the Econolite and the model number is in the small letters right below GKO, and that's the model we put in. It says single light, but pole top, yoke, bollard. What it doesn't say is wall pack. This is actually a wall pack. But these lights can be mounted on poles. A bollard is just a post, a short post. But these are a single light. That's the brand, and it's 45 watts. So it's less watts than a 60 watt light in your kitchen. But because it's LED, it's bright.
And how many are mounted on the building?
4.
On one side or all around?
On the side.
Just on one side. And these are only, if you look at the plan again,
Yep.
do you see like 15 feet, 15 feet? Okay, and the yellow boxes are the light fixture itself. On this, sorry, on
Well, right here, see the sheet here? So these are the
Oh,
lights. here.
sorry. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
So,
I was looking at this one and it seemed like one, that's why I was
Yeah,
confused.
so based on, my question is to the board, based on my lack of knowledge of the regulation, how far is the light allowed to go? Or how far does the light need to be from a residential property line?
Well, I don't know, is there a distance that has to be from the property line?
No, I think it's just.
No, as long as it's not over the property line.
Yeah, what the, again, I'm not at all an expert in this, but based on what I observed at the Flower and Soul hearing, it was like the final thing that they had to bring in, and they produced, it was almost like a Google Earth plan, and with numbers all over, you know, and when I was looking at that, you know, I couldn't understand what there was, and that's why I did it this way. So there, I don't think to answer your question, Greg, that there's a code. It's where the code comes in is it's more from a practical public safety and security, whatever is.
There has to be at least a minimum foot candles for public safety and for security. There's really not a maximum. The maximum happens when the light is not allowed to leave the property bounds.
Right.
We can't have a light shining into the
Somebody
neighbor's
else's yard.
yards.
Like my neighbor?
I'm sorry?
Like his name? So,
That's a picture,
right.
and you can see
Yeah, when the light stops if
where
you're
it
on
kind
the
of stops.
property.
Yeah.
So I think, and again,
I've driven, I've seen it.
yeah, so I don't know if I'm allowed to address the board and everybody in the thing, like everybody in the gallery or not? Okay, so obviously with you guys here, I've heard it and this is just my input and take it for what it's worth, but with, you know, the neighbors, or neighboring residents. I think the hang up is that you guys can see the lights from your property line, but if it's being proven that the light's not actually crossing over as far as light shine, if you are in your yard, is that light showing you in that spotlight? Because if it is, that's not sticking true to this, but if it's not, then it's like moving next to a lighthouse. You're gonna be able to see the lighthouse from 15 miles out, but that doesn't mean the light's actually shining on you. That's how I'm kind of interpreting. Does that make sense? Am I interpreting that properly?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You're gonna be able to see the lighthouse from a ship, but that doesn't mean it's lighting up the ship.
Right.
So although it might be a disturbance to somebody trying to sleep on the ship, the light isn't actually shining on them. And our guidelines or bylaws are saying as long as it's not actually crossing into the neighboring yard, then you're falling within the safety protocol for having a commercial property and running a business there. So
And also to reference that, on your point, there were two, probably 400 watt metal halide lights on the telephone poles. And one of them was shining looking at the front of the building to the right, which was shining over to the neighbor's house. You could see that light.
Yep.
It illuminated the house because
Okay.
those lights are designed to travel. A metal halide is a different type of bulb and technology than LED. It's meant to light a wide area for a long distance from one location. So those were on the pole. We had those moved so that they're totally aiming away from the neighboring property. There's another one on the other pole at the vacant side of the store, and that is also shining away from any neighbor's property.
So
So I guess we can talk about a couple of the other aspects and then open it up.
Right.
to the-
Because I know people in the, people in the audience have things that they want to say and be heard, and we want to make sure everybody has that opportunity. I just want to make sure we were understanding it properly so that we can best govern the conversation moving forward. But the way I'm interpreting it now, that I have a better understanding, is you're outside the spotlight, you can still see it, but then it's not until you actually walk into the foot candle perimeter or radius until it becomes an issue.
Right.
And if it's not reaching the adjacent, the abutting residents, then they're technically in line with what we need them to be in.
Right.
Okay. As long as we're on the same.
So I guess the next question I have is parking. So you probably have what, 1, 2, 3, how many employees work at the same time?
Right now we have 2 employees, 2 or 3 more.
Okay.
Amy, just to answer that further, the number of spaces is determined by the square footage of the retail space. And there is a table there that shows the square footage of retail, and we do need the parking.
It looks like you did. I just want to be clear so that we're
Yeah,
talking
well-
about everything without leaving it out and making everybody happy. Because that's the whole reason I wanted to do this, is that we can make everybody happy with this is the plan, this is what we are, we're following the guidelines so that we don't have complaint meetings on a regular basis.
And we also, we have agreed, and it says it on the drawing, we will put up a 6-foot-high white vinyl fence. Which once the board, if and when the board approves that, we'll show a sample of that fence to Adam and Nicole, but it'll be 6-foot-high white solid vinyl fence, which will help the cause, I think, as well.
Anybody else have any questions? I'll open it up to the public. If anybody has anything to say, please raise your hand.
Hi, I have a question.
You might want to use the microphone so that the camera can hear you.
Hi, I'm Jamie DeGiusto, 10 Post Street, your neighbors out back, otherwise known as Mama Dukes on the Zoom calls. So I had a question in regards just to the fencing. I'm in the back side of it at Alliance Gold Street back here. You guys have all that parking coming in. My backyard abuts your property. Gold Street's that paper road there with the bamboo, Japanese knotwood. That's gonna be completely depleted probably in another 4 to 5 weeks. So that leaves my backyard fully exposed and open to all of those parking spaces. So I didn't see a proposal for fencing in the back on Gold Street there. I didn't know how to read it.
She's back.
Yes.
So this is the paper road, it's not really,
My property comes over here.
it's just there,
Your-
and
my
then
property
it
comes
goes
over
back
there.
here.
So this is actually, this broken concrete is part of Gold Street. So in a domain, we each have access to 3 feet of that. This is all open.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm looking for the parking with the, I didn't see a fence here.
Okay.
Like, I don't know what you guys have in the meeting or if there is anything in the works for
Outside.
Well, why don't we do
a
this?
barricade between my, residential and
Take 3 or 4
Or
hours.
we
They
take
drive down the
closer
street,
to
of course you can
this
see it, of course, I can see what you're saying, I can see it.
specific
I think the
area.
stockade fence would be a huge plus to it, right? Because that would take that out of there.
Yeah, just,
They can see it from upstairs, of course.
I don't think we can answer that question
But,
but
yeah,
now.
I looked at it, it
well,
looks
that
like
was
they
why
put
a couple
something
of my
on
letters
there
that had
too.
come in previous, so that was why I had requested closer from.
I just,
So I can
part of
see.
it also is, you can't
We
leave
can
it to a commercial building.
Yeah, that's, because I didn't
It's usually one of the house next to it.
I don't
I did my
know,
job,
have
I've been.
discussions with one of
So you
the
didn't do it.
listening to it. I don't know, I don't know, I don't wanna
Yeah, try not to, because that's not worked in my favor in the past, right?
I'm like,
Yeah.
We just agreed that lady that we would take a closer look at that particular area where she's concerned about. See that like six or so spaces at the back? Her property right behind those, so let me take a closer look at her.
So you would just run the one fence down,
We're just running
But it's
a
the right-
loan, we're just gonna loan between our property and that one that goes on.
and
nothing on the back.
no plan on the back.
Yeah,
Right, not yet.
not yet. That could all change again depending what happens from the, but something will change just for that lady, we will take a,
We'll take a closer look and we'll try our best to address that problem.
Good.
Let me see, let me go to my fence guy, what he says, and we go from there.
Especially if he's already gonna be out there,
Oh, yeah.
if it's one of those things that he might
It's just-
give you a deal for.
So you are gonna put up fence there?
He's gonna address it, he's gonna talk to his fence.
I'm gonna try to talk to
I wanna make sure it's
me, my
fine.
dad, my family, who,
I just need to see
Just let-
exactly how many feet we need. Again, how many spaces are right there?
6,
That's about 60 feet of fence.
7 in a space, so call it 75.
It's also including the length of space number 14, so it would be adding another.
We'll
15.
make
Thank
it.
you.
There's also a fair amount of trees and seasonal shrubbery there as well. And it was proposed as a paper street at one point, it looks to me. So there is a buffer zone there, but I'm not sure how far that is.
Okay. Well, I think a fence would solve that problem, clearly, so.
So would you agree to put one up, whatever the length would be, at least to the back of the building, for now?
I think.
Or are you talking about to here?
I'm talking about the heat. Because I don't want to, again, I know what happens over here. I don't want to, the chances are that this could be parking someday as well. So but for right now, we would simply do it to here.
Okay.
And then if
Are
we
you gonna
have-
hit the back of the line and, like, right here, or no, because there's shrubbery, I'm sorry?
Yeah, I mean, we don't own it. I mean, when you're out on the site, you can't see this line.
No, I know that.
Right. So whether we started, I mean, I wouldn't start it right on the line. I'd pull it back.
Right, so that you can maintain it, yeah, you know what I mean,
I
though.
do.
And if they did that, that would be okay with you?
Yeah, the parking, as long as they're not running over the kids in my backyard, we're good. Legit, all of the kids are in my yard all of the time.
But
My
is it-
property line comes all the way over behind this pool, and I'm all behind. So I run the whole I run the whole 170 feet behind.
Isn't there a fence here though?
No, that goes this way on the other girl's property. My next door neighbor, 20s.
No. Oh, that's why we need to take it closer.
So we're looking at.
Yeah, so if you guys are gonna have parking back there, because that Gold Street is I mean, you can't really even fit a car between these two properties. I mean, it looks pretty on paper, but I mean, yeah, and that's.
It's not a
that
developed
Jeffrey's
road.
not what's gonna be gone, depleted, and that's full access to my backyard. There's absolutely nothing.
So basically, if there's roughly, not holding you to it, but 75 feet of fence between here, if that's 60, throw another 15 feet on there, 75 feet of fence, that would suffice, would make you happy, and then that's something that you have to just go back and talk to your family
Give
about.
someone a chance.
Yeah,
Yep.
is that,
Let me ask you, would you want a 6-foot high fence, or would you put a 4-foot high fence?
Well, is this a 6?
That's 6.
I would stick with the 6, go with the 9. No, I know, I mean, that's privacy too. We've had the history, everyone ends up in our backyard on that store, because it's open. Like you can drive cars back on this, and it happens, it's still happening, people turn around and, so,
right.
it's, yeah, a 6-foot.
It'll at least deter anybody that's in there for that to think that they can just drive in that area to turn around.
Yep.
Parking spot, definitely.
Okay.
Right, you know what I'm also
I haven't seen
thinking?
anybody turn around in 2 years.
One of the fence guys that we were talking, is probably not going to be the one we use, was concerned about this. The pool is only about a foot away from the fence.
Okay.
It's going to be 10.
Not a pool, right?
It's about a foot away from the rear property line, it's going to be 5 feet. And this guy's a bit of a stickler, he said, you know, nobody, with all the accidents that have happened just this past summer, nobody climbs the fence that I put in and falls into that pool and then the river. So
Maybe kitty corner it.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Like-
But right now,
Like if he took it.
I might do that.
Oh, all right.
Right? I don't want to give up any land here, nothing.
Well, you could kitty corner it from
Right.
like here.
Yeah.
You know what I
Give you your
mean?
10 to give you your 10 feet
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Where you move the pool.
Like, 'cause if you kitty corner it and then
It's a work, we get one on fine.
Yeah, so if it were to look like on this side, like that, so it was 10 feet,
Yeah.
and then that would give them space on their side of the pool a little.
as long as that spot isn't zoned to be needed for something in parking, but it's just there, just as a,
Yeah, it's just space.
yeah, so,
Well, that's okay.
and then that would be a perfect connector from there to there.
And it would
There
cut
would
down
also-
on, it would cut down on
Might
this
just put like a
length.
45 in the end of it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, we will,
It would cut down on fence if you're gonna run fence across there, if you just went like, still do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It would save probably 30 feet of fence.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
You just,
Something
the only
like
thing
that
is you
that
just,
way.
you know, just
Seems
gotta,
to be progressing amicably, so it seems like an easy solution to it.
What about anybody else? Come on up. Hello.
Do you have to say my name and everything?
Please.
Nicole Nelligan, 649 Monset Street. My question is, I was wondering if we could come to an agreement. If we decide, yes, go ahead with the 6-foot fence, we're asking either for 2 lights to be shut off at night, so there's only 2 on the side of the building instead of the 4. And if you don't want to do that, if we could have arborvitaes or a higher bush put up along your side of the property on the fence just to block out our house, not where, I don't care about any other sides of the fence, but along where our house is, where the light is. So in the picture, yes, the light does shine down, but the light from underneath goes directly at my bedroom window. So we have a white door and it shines directly. If you look at the pool at night too, the light's coming from somewhere. The light's coming from only one place. It's from those lights. We didn't have that problem before the lights were installed. So that's what I'm asking, one or the other.
So have you seen this, what they provided? So this is what we were all just looking at, just so that you know we're all on the same page. So obviously this is the side of the building, right? There are 4 lights. They're saying that the light actually, if you were to be standing here, you would actually technically be in the dark, right? And there's 46 feet between your property line and where the actual light is shining. Now, to the same thing as that, for lack of a better analogy of a lighthouse, you're going to be able to see those lights.
It's not so much seeing the lights, it's actually
Shining.
shining. So I don't think it's in the light.
So you don't think the fence would reflect it better, it would make it easier?
You're in my bedroom downstairs.
We have lights in our house.
This one has a fence right at the back of the building.
So if they could shut off these two, it really doesn't matter because they look like right here that shines back and then
So you're gonna dull down
the
a
van
little
that's
bit,
right here that
but
has the
anything else,
inspection,
so-
expired sticker, if that was moved, then it would just be more light into our backyard.
Right.
Because they were light here, the 4 here, if they could shut off 2 or put bushes right here so I don't have to see it right next to my house. Either one of those things would work. And if they
So
just
your
choose
property
the
line's
light-
right here.
The
Yeah,
one I'm just
whatever.
gonna say to.
So we have 3 windows in this house. There's 2 right here, both which get this one.
And the bedroom one is the one that has the AC in it right now?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
our,
Yeah, I
that's
have to
our
have it, I
upstairs
can't
bedroom.
have my
But
windows
it's the
tonight.
downstairs bedroom that we're having issues
I like
with.
it.
So there's 3 windows. One directly with the side that has 4 and then
So the downstairs window, it shouldn't
Is our
be,
bedroom.
but the downstairs is the bedroom.
that's the one we're having issues with.
Okay.
The
What would
upstairs, yes, you can see the light if you look up it, but I'm not staring outside.
Right, of course. So you don't think that 6-foot fence is going to take care of the lighting issue on the downstairs first floor?
That's the only problem I'm having is the downstairs one.
Okay.
The upstairs we can deal with. We're not gonna move out the window at night.
Right,
The
yep.
upstairs, we were laying in bed and it's shining off the doors.
Yep.
And there's 3 windows in that room.
So I guess my question would be,
Correct?
no, you're good. Well, no, you can still stay up here, but I guess my question would be that if you're putting a solid 6-foot, because the white panel is a solid fence, it's going up 6 feet. The light's coming down technically. Right now, it's coming through to your bedroom because it's shining through, but technically that 6-foot fence should stop
The
that.
light is 9 feet up and the fence is only 6 feet.
So I understand what you're saying. It's not actually entering that property line. I understand
Unless
that.
it's anything. I
Well,
can't
let me just,
make it sharp.
let me just offer this. First of all, we're not taking any light fixtures down.
Right.
We didn't say anything about taking them down, we said about turning the 2 off at a certain point at night.
No.
Well, that defeats the whole purpose. We need to light the parking area
From the regulations for safety.
Okay.
and the
From a
way,
commercial, for a commercial building.
and the way they're wired.
Put a couple tall bushes to block that side right
So
there.
you're looking at, you're talking taller than 6 feet?
Yes, like.
Honestly, I think we are doing everything we can. Kenny has offered to put up, pay for a fence.
So I didn't want the argument to call, but he's gonna give me, just don't even bother.
No, it is worth the document, absolutely, if you live there.
No, I'm simply going to, all I'm going to say is this, that I think we are being as reasonable as we possibly can. It's a commercial building. In a commercially zoned district, you've heard me say that now, probably too many times. If you want to plant some shrubs or trees, you pay for it. You plant them on your side of the fence and you pay for it.
So let me ask you a question, right? So if people are drinking alcohol in their parking lot or in the back of the door, where's the safety for that? How come they're not calling the cops when there's a guy sitting down drinking a 24-ounce can and 2 nips in 10 minutes and getting his Harley and taking off? Or people backing out of the parking lot as they're drinking nips and dropping it out their window? Because I've seen it. People throwing their trash all over the place, pouring in my yard, like.
So
You're all about safety, but that's a safety issue too, for people on the road.
So here's the hard part about this conversation is that the planning board has a very specific role, and the planning board role is to follow this big book, which is really just the bylaws and the guidelines. So I get what you're saying, and I'm not dismissing it by any means. That's just going to be a conversation for another board, because all we can do is say if they have a commercial property, they're following the safety protocols that are in this rule book that we didn't write, right? And so we have to follow them, hold them to the letter of the law, hear what the property and abutting neighbors have to say about it, and then say, well, any agreement would be between the two of you guys. But They are following the rules. So that stuff about safety, I mean, that's a police department issue, that's another board, other than we don't hold any jurisdiction over that, unfortunately. So I feel bad that we can't help you further on that, but we have to do this. Does that make sense?
I don't know how bad it is. Where it's at, Front Street Hill.
So that's all I got. Is there any other way to put it? Yeah.
See that?
So,
This could get.
No, just let it go.
yeah. So I think you've agreed to do a 6-foot fence.
I am also
Sounds like doing 58 or whatever.
So,
I think, the 6-foot fence, I think, be a huge difference. You put up the fence and see what happens, and
So if we have further complaints after, we'll go with the fence, see if it helps with some of the
Yeah.
light.
unfortunately, I feel like that's the only thing that can be done, right?
but like we were saying, unfortunately, it's commercial property, they're meeting what they have to do to light the property up, and the place, it's been there for a long time. I don't know what you can, what are you gonna do? I wouldn't wanna have all the light either, but you don't want to have it dark at night and have problems too.
That would be more
You know,
dangerous.
I'd rather have it lit up and be less apt to people hanging out and
I'm
whatever.
not worried about the danger.
Do you have any room on your side to plant a couple bushes,
I
like
have-
white pines?
I have a tree and the side of the yard it's too close to the house, so we're going to the foundation.
So also, I think at the end of the day too, having a 6-foot solid paneled fence running the entire length of the perimeter of your property line is going to do a lot to what what your husband was just speaking about the safety or people mingling or spilling over into your property line. That's going to address that. Nobody can stop what somebody's randomly going to do on a commercial property.
It will bring a liquor store, bring people who have been awoken to verbal arguments before the liquor store even opens.
Right.
But that's why we wanted as much space between the liquor store and that, because not everyone is going to be somebody causing trouble, but there's been a lot, and
Yeah.
you guys have been open for a short time.
I would probably recommend that when that does happen, to call the Halifax police.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like I said, it's just not a planning board jurisdiction that we can address, right? It's putting all that stuff up.
He hasn't heard of any trouble.
The last meeting, before that morning of the meeting, you can check your cameras, because you'll see it, there were people screaming in your, before you got there. We woke up to
I
people.
usually go out right away. If I see any troubles in my parking lot, I tell them, get out. I don't want anything, because I've been running this business 11 years in the store.
Yeah.
Not only in these towns, Hanover, Duxbury, and Halifax.
Yeah.
So, as per the rules and regulations, you can check out with the town of Hanover, how I operate the business. You can check out in the town of Duxbury, how we operate the business.
Yeah.
And I try my best, but sometimes I cannot win the battle over the people.
Yeah.
Some people are crazy.
Most people.
I can't control it. Some people just live it nicely, go sorry for that, but some people I just can't.
Yeah.
I can tell you one incident if you want me to. I don't know.
Well, at the end of the day, not to waste anybody's time or not to cut you off from being heard, I think the reason again, our jurisdiction is the zone, not the zoning, because that's the zoning board, but the regulations and bylaws as far as the site plan and the lighting issues and the fencing and all that stuff, which I think we're addressing. Obviously, I think the hardest part is you buy property next to a commercial business and building, there are certain things that they have to adhere to that might not line up with.
Can I
Yeah.
ask what changed in the laws that all of a sudden they needed 4 lights when the old liquor store operated just fine without 4 lights? Was there a new change that they needed 4?
It was probably there for a long time, and when it changed hands and they came in front of us, these things also did change. It was just probably from old days to new days.
They're in line with what the current bylaws state that a resident or a commercial property needs in order for safety purposes, so it's one of those kind of situations.
And there is, just for sake of going over it, there's no way you can turn 2 off at night.
It would mean rewiring them all, and then it would take a separate control to do it. And then, I'm not sure which two are we talking about to turn it off. We're talking about turning off the two to the rear?
When it was closed, the two of your choice is what she was
Yeah.
stating.
The lights are all off when they're closed.
The lights are off when they're closed.
So you close at 11?
No.
10:30.
Yeah.
The
We,
lights go off and 15 minutes later, tonight, and goes off.
Okay.
So these are not on all night.
Right.
So they are shut off at 10:15.
The latest, 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Have you seen them on?
No,
11
just, I
o'clock.
just wanted to address what she had asked.
Yeah.
even for security purpose, we have to light it up even at night time.
Yep.
What happens, something break-ins in the 2 in the morning?
Right.
The lights on
Lights are shut off.
The lights on the poles out front are on photo eyes,
Right.
so they're on dusk
All
to
the
dawn.
time. Right.
These lights come on at, right now, I just checked the clock on my way here. They come on at 7 o'clock. They'll, further into the season, they'll start coming on at 6
Yep.
and then 5.
Yep.
But that's a manual clock, it's not automatic. The owner or the worker has to reset the clock.
Yep.
But in no way will it be on after 11. If he stays open till 11, they'll stay on till maybe 11:15 to
Right.
get him out the door.
Right.
But right now, they're typically closing at 10:30, 10:15.
It's Nicole.
Yes.
So as somebody that also has a young family, right, 11 o'clock seems like really late at night. Now, it never meant like that a lot before I had children, but now that I have a young child, 11 o'clock seems like it's, holy crap, late, right? But for a commercial building that's open till 10:30 at night, again, they're just adhering to the safety regulations that have been put in place by our bylaws. So unfortunately, as far as turning them off earlier or turning them off, in a 50% capacity, it wouldn't be doing what's best for the employees of the company, that are working for them.
Lighting creates security, so if there's a concern of people doing bad things, people do more bad things in the dark than they do in the light.
Yep.
That's why we need lighting.
Would it be all right to get the fence situation squared away and then reevaluate all of this? Because I feel like we're at least starting to move forward.
Yeah, well, the site plan is gonna basically cap it off, what we decide tonight, caps it all off.
Right. And if there's any
We will,
further minor
we
discussion.
will work in good faith, with everyone. It's not like, once you sign something there, we're gonna see you later.
Right. That's bad for business.
It is. I may have to be back in front of you guys at some other point in time.
Right.
I'm not, we just want to do the right thing.
Is there anybody else that has anything to add to the situation?
I have a further question, but I don't know if it's for this meeting.
Okay,
So,
try it.
just, yeah. When or if a new tenant comes in, at what point do we discuss blocking off the rest of the commercial land to the resident?
I think basically what's gonna happen, that if they get a tenant, and in my opinion, any change from storage to another tenant would be coming back in. So if it's, depending on what it is, then we'll be back here for a site plan modification.
Because it's going to involve more parking. It's going to involve, depending on what the business is.
Well, it will, if it's a tenant, if it's a retail space, be it an ice cream shop or a bicycle repair shop, there's going to be parking. And like,
Which would require them to come back in, and then that's when we would have that conversation.
Okay, that's good, thank you.
You good? Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, so I was gonna say, I would motion to approve this site plan with the addition of the kitty corner fence that goes beyond the back parking. As long as that was installed, a 6-foot fence at the kitty corner, all the way to the end of this parking space 8. However you wanna do it, as long as the fence comes to this last parking spot
yeah, so.
and it's all 6 feet
If
fence.
we go to 45 here or thereabouts, and then extend it to here.
Yep. However you would want to do that, and we would want an updated copy of this showing what you were going to do, and we'll sign that one.
Okay. I mean, I could mark this up now, but That wouldn't be right, would it? Because it isn't what we...
Well, you can mark it up so that we can see exactly what we agree to. I would be all for that, and then that way, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And obviously, that's also contingent on the fact that you have to talk to your fence guy, talk to your family, and so
And
that
that'll, yeah, and, well, no, that they're agreeing to do it. Because that's why.
Drag it out another.
No,
Let's not drag it out. You know,
You agree.
I'm more than
So, like-
happy not driving.
If they're willing to do that, I'd be willing to, yep,
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
100%.
So like that was my whole purpose, is if we can get this plan and then we don't have them fighting back and forth.
Well, my misunderstanding was that thinking that when we sign off on this, grandfather in, even if I'm tenant goes in, that they can do whatever. So it's like, whoa, and we need to have that.
So maybe I'll add that to my motion.
Well, no, they're gonna have to know.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll add it to my motion. Might as well, yeah,
Okay.
in my opinion.
So long as you're gonna have an agreement between, you know, the abutter and when they move this fence, you know, he's not gonna think that now that's his property, you know. You know, they could have been tough and said, hey, move the pool. You know?
True.
But they're doing him a big favor. As long as they don't mind losing that little corner.
So, Nicole, do you want to come up here for a sec? So we can show you something? Just because she may as well know that, right? So, also, the other part is it's kind of like a one thing leads to another type of thing. So what they're doing right now is they're drafting up this. So they're going to put this fence in, right? But by code. Okay. Yep. Okay.
What we'd rather do
It's just coffee, so.
is put the fence across it.
Okay,
Just not lose this.
okay.
Okay.
And you may, at some point in the future, have to deal with the fact that your pool is
So that's what we were saying is that by it being that close to the property line, right, which this is theirs, that the request to put up a fence puts that here, but then that opens you up for liability for somebody crawling on top of the fence and jumping in your pool,
Okay.
right? So if at the end,
end.
then that solves that problem, right?
So it's not gonna be about you, sure?
Yeah.
use
So what we were
this.
trying to do was say if we did a kitty corner thing, but this would still be their property, which technically means anybody on your property shouldn't be on theirs, even though the fence is there.
Right.
But we're trying to make it safe for not only their property, but also your liability of having a pool and having
I
some,
mean, we will still have it one in this, towards the same location, but if it,
just move it 10 feet.
oh, we have to be 10 feet?
Yeah. It's 10 feet from the property line.
Is that, do we just have it on the best?
So that's where, like, if they want it to be, for the lack of a better word,
Yeah.
Do you wanna look at
Correct.
this and make
They
sure
could
it's
say,
exactly
we'll put
what
the
you
fence in,
thought
we'll be full.
before we make a motion
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and
accept?
I don't want him flipping cars out in the parking lot because he's so pissed, you know what I'm saying? So totally get it. So at the end of the day,
I honestly didn't.
And that's
yeah,
what we're
so-
gonna motion
so at
to
the end of the
approve
day, they'll put this fence up.
with that change.
I'm
Yeah, I mean, are there gonna be more parking spaces?
Trust me,
like
your
that when the fence goes up? But that
complaints
would
or your
be-
concerns are not gone.
Yeah, and I'm gonna address that in my
Hoping that
motion.
this is gonna do a lot.
I mean,
But
it's
they-
just the people yelling and.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, from high road. Yeah.
And from now
That'll
on,
make a huge difference.
100%. And the other thing too is, unfortunately, it's like I've dealt in living in an area like that before, and it was just I had local PD on speed dial, and it's like, hey, it's running.
You're
And
good.
sure enough,
Okay, I like your feathers.
you know what? But here's what ends up happening is if the people who regularly cause ruckus or want to cause ruckus, not that they do it all the time, but if they realize that every time something happens, a cop comes by, and then the police start paroling at certain times because they're used to getting these phone calls, they don't want to get the phone call anymore, they change like their routes, and then the people that do cause ruckus go, you don't want to go there because the cops are by there all the time. And then it kind of governs, the village governs itself, right? But yeah, they could be kind of jerks about this pool, and they're willing to work with it. So if this fence is really what's most important,
Yeah, absolutely.
just understand that's the conceding of both sides to get this done amicably.
And is there a time frame that,
Thoughts on the pool, Bushy?
on the fence?
On the fence, not the pool.
I'm gonna call my guys, we have all the things, right? How much they supposed to go the square foot,
Yes.
and negotiate with the price and everything with my fence guy. I don't know, and I have to see what we have to, if he's busy or not busy. but
And supply too.
supplies.
Put it this way, it's really hard to put a fence in a frozen ground, so I would assume it's probably before.
Starting tomorrow, but I will try my best wherever I can.
We're not gonna go through the winter without a fence. Is that what we're agreeing on? Probably.
Hopefully, if he's available. then-
You know,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
supply issues.
Right, yeah, true.
Finding that out and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Supply, whatever, I have to see.
So as soon as
What
possible.
he has available.
Okay.
They wanna get this off their plate as much as you guys wanna get it off theirs as well, so.
And everybody's happy with that. If we motion this, everybody's happy with it, right? Okay. Then the goal will be achieved if we motion
So-
this.
Just one last thing, and I know I was not happy, but we're gonna have to work with the fence guy. To work with you, because when he starts, you know how there's a fence here,
Yeah,
and your dogs are all in here?
yeah,
We're gonna have to work so that
they'll
you,
have to be.
They'll have to be
they'll
theirs.
have to, yeah.
because they're gonna take down the chain link
Yep,
and put back.
yep, yep, we got that.
So we don't want any.
No, they won't get back up.
Any misunderstanding of what the hell they're doing on the
And
fence.
you're okay
But we
to
don't
agree
want
with
parking
that?
then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
Got it.
really.
Okay.
It's been more line, which is unfortunate.
So,
Gotcha.
so if the motion, if I make a motion that we would approve the site plan with the addition of 80 feet of fence along the back line to go beyond the parking, a 6-foot white solid fence, and that you agree to come back with any changes as far as tenants and site plan modification in the future, I approve, we'll approve the site plan with those two agreements.
I'd second that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. You're welcome.
Cool?
You're welcome.
All right.
Thanks.
Who brought the champagne?
Come on. No, because you're coming to town meeting at 7 o'clock. All right, 7 o'clock on the 21st.
Will be the only one.
I know the planning board is at
Thank you, guys.
11, which is fine. Hopefully, we never have any incidents happens in the future or any break-ins because of the dark, like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning.
Yep.
I had one incident when the store was closed, not when we opened, when it was at a warehouse. Somebody tried to break in from the back. Something. What would happen if some incidents start to happen 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and then I have to decide to have that lights on the property on this side and this side.
You have to come back into us and talk to us because of hours.
Yeah, lighting hours.
It's a bylaw for the lights have to go off when the building closes.
Well, that's what we've been talking about and agreeing to. Yeah.
Right.
Because
Just not on back.
Well, the
is what you're
streetlights
saying.
are all over.
Yeah.
on the back,
Right.
because then somebody rear the back door too, because nobody gonna break in from the front.
Well, I would suggest that when we address this side of the building, we may end up with parking lights on poles.
Right.
Yep.
up here.
Which is fine.
And then I'm sure they have the type of security system that you can purchase that has some kind of night, not for the lack of a better word, night vision.
Yeah.
Right, so that
they
it's
do.
not going to deter the break-in, but it's going to have some kind of motion sensor, and you're going to have video evidence of what's going on back there during the nighttime closed hours.
Yes.
But you want lights to deter somebody from even walking back
to
there.
back,
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like, then I say, oh, no, we have to start putting the lights on
Mm-hmm.
because it's keep happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna come back in one incident, but
Yeah,
if
no, I get it.
2 incidents, then I have to concern about the safety.
So I think
Of course,
I think
and then
Amy's
come back and
Amy's
talk.
right. You'd have to come back and then we'd have to figure out what the best situation would be for that. But at this point, I think
So
it's
right now, the bylaw, it says you have to have the lights out at night.
In this particular situation, because we have.
Now, that's what, I don't wanna be locked in a one situation like.
Well, it's business.
Sorry.
It's the business hours thing.
Oh, yeah, so after business hours, everything has to be black, dark.
I don't know what black.
No.
Is that a town rule? That's,
No, that's what we've been discussing that we've been doing.
So,
Yeah. I have it.
I just got this 3 months ago, so have at it.
I think it's just basically what we've been talking about with them.
so now we have
That
us.
we've been talking about with them that the lights go out and we have this long conversation. Now it would change everything we just did.
if it comes down to it, make sure the sidewalks on their side go out, because there's no window, it's just cement block, nobody's going to block wall. If we needed to put, a different type of light, there's two lights out back now, but they're both aiming straight down. We could put those either on motion sensors, or put motion sensor lights, or do something like that. But I think that
So lights might be a good idea.
that would be more,
They walk out back, all of a sudden the light pops on, and they're like, oops.
So they,
And it wouldn't be
you
a
must have
cost.
alarms that'll go off when somebody breaks in, right?
Yes, it does, it does.
I think you're worrying about too much right now.
Yeah.
So basically, put it
It's
this
not
way.
also too much worry about, but something like, I don't want to get
Locked
locked
in.
in. Or something like, no,
Well,
that's
we
what
would
we
just-
discussed, you cannot do anything anymore.
Right, so the point is, so
Well, locked in,
Okay.
that's going out.
that's all we decided on, was this up. We didn't have any conversation about lights on the back yet, so if that was needed, you would just come back and talk to us, and it wouldn't say, well, we signed off on this, and so you can't. It would say, no, the discussion we had was purely on the side. Now we need to discuss the back, and to his point, if you have
Well, no,
another.
we just approved the site plan as it is, like, but I think that if they put on a few motion sensor lights in the back, like, just let them come on if somebody was
Right,
back
yeah,
there.
no, as you see needed, but at the end of the day too, to their point, is if you have a resident or another, a tenant in there, that's gonna cause more parking, which is gonna create more lighting, which is gonna be more of a
another
deterrent. Which will be
modification of the
another
site
modification
plan.
in front of us,
So
and then
we'll
we can
talk about
address.
it then.
You're not gonna be locked in till you can't do that.
Yeah, that's.
Based on today's conversation.
Because-
Right. Oh, yeah, oh, you mean in the future?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Where do we stand with respect to getting that signed?
Are you gonna have it updated by Webby, because we need 3 copies and we'll have them signed as soon as we get them? Joanne will call us and we'll come into the office.
Updating that I just did there.
Oh, okay. Well then, if you do that, anybody have any problem with that? I'm okay with that. If you update these,
Okay, how many copies do you need?
3.
3, so you have the one that you have,
This one
this one,
and this one.
and I need all the lighting things back, guys.
Have you got one
One
extra copy? I gave you guys 10 for those.
more. Really?
No, this is Liddell.
Here,
These are the lighting copies.
thank you.
I will get these back to you.
By the end of the meeting.
But it-
I'm kidding.
Come on, none of us have families.
It was
you
a
know.
joke. It was a joke.
Yeah, we can all come in
Sorry.
and sign them because we've already agreed on them. So as soon as they're dropped off, we can sign off on them.
Okay.
Says you were in there.
Yeah, thank you. Yep.
Takes a gentleman to the-
Oh, yeah, oh, my wife could do that.
I hope that this works out. You see why I did it now.
Yes.
Okay. Grazie.
I wasn't complaining.
I didn't think so.
All right,
You can be sometimes, it's a pain.
Thank you guys. Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you.
You bet. Have a good night, you guys.
Yeah, I popped one out. I just don't know what yours are.
I think we should do it.
Joanne, 8:30, I'm back there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think. Is it 8:30?
Oh, it's yeah.
Okay. Next, we have up Steve and Janice Haywood, Form A.
Guys, sorry I was running late.
We got nothing better to do.
I got my time.
Then we're early.
You thought we were at 9?
There you go.
No,
How are you guys?
September 8th.
Very good.
So what are we doing? Hopefully have the daughter in. Another piece. Oh, for, lot 6-4?
One of the corners.
Oh, the one in the corner of Furnace.
He has all his lots marked off. We put a lot of areas. So the last lot is the one on the corner, Furnace and Elm. That's what she's gonna know.
So this is,
The first
Lot
one
6-3.
closest to the coal house was
that's
already
where,
done.
that's where that,
That's done.
this is across the street from like Jim Wright, correct?
Right.
And then this one's across from the links, right?
Yeah, this is our house.
Yeah.
This is nothing that we need.
Nothing turning anything.
Right, this is gonna be where
Well,
the
in this
house is,
time.
yeah.
No.
I'm aware of it.
That's
She's
what
gonna inherit it all anyway.
So I was gonna go there, and this is one right there. Just gonna be part of.
He was just showing us what to do now, but
Look at all the possibilities, right?
yeah.
It's the reason why we live in Halifax.
We bought the house from the Davis and the Davis to keep it that way.
Nice.
So we're looking to cut out lot 6-3.
Thank you, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You guys get plans?
Yep.
So you have to fit the house in this, look at this footprint here. Right.
Her house will probably be on Furnace.
Okay. How large of a home is she planning on building?
In her world. Just a standard family house, don't forget about nothing breaking.
So we coming on this side, front door facing this way.
Yeah. Could face
I think her
it.
husband wants to go garage, nothing.
Yeah. So you got plenty of room on all the setbacks to squeeze. Janice, you got plenty of room to squeeze the house in with the setbacks, I assume, right?
It's creating
Yeah.
6-4 too, correct? So it'll split this lot.
So
basically-
the last plan we did,
It's 50 feet on
Six
corner,
divided into
50 feet
two
all the way
lots.
around.
It was one big one, and that is now 618.
6-1 and 6-2.
so we
So when you're
divided
looking
it into 2 lots the last time.
Yes.
So now we're dividing it
What do
into
you-
4 lots?
No.
Just to get
It's
yours.
supposed
I mean, I know what
to
you're
be 3 lots?
You just doing the one.
The one corner
Well,
lot.
just see to make sure
So
that your
He
frontage,
drew on it.
which obviously you got plenty of
Other-
that.
Yeah.
Just so we would know what
And to
we're
your
not.
point with the setback.
With the setbacks, if the house has to fit these, this is your foot, this is the only place you can put the house is right.
But what this does is
You
creates,
can keep 30 in the back,
Two
30
lots.
in the side. And,
because you have one and you divide it, and make it
Yes.
2. Right, yes.
It's not gonna say ours, it will be.
No,
No, no, I
You are-
understand.
Yeah, and you already did the A&R for 6-1 and
corner lots, that's
6-2.
where the drawback of corner
So
lots
this-
are,
this'll-
because you lose them.
Yeah, right,
Because you
right.
gotta
Just
keep that
6
kitty
corner.
corner or
Just
something.
one.
That was cut out, and then all of this was 1 lot.
But,
We divided
we'll
into
see-
2 the
we'll see
last
the
time.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this plan is divided into 3. 6-2, 6-3, 6-4.
What about,
That's already done.
okay, oh, and that's why it's shaded that way.
Right.
So I guess technically it
So-
would become 3 lots because.
This is the piece that you have to work with. Comes up here like this. It's being divided into 6-3, 6-2, 6-4.
So yes, it would end up being 3 lots. The one that we already did, the
No.
one that's gonna be hers.
No, he's saying
Oh, another one.
beyond that. See, this is the first one
It's
we
gonna be a
did.
big
Yeah.
tax bill.
So it was this, and then the rest of this was one piece.
Right.
So now he's got it divided into 3 lots.
Yeah, I think he did that because.
You know that's gonna be a big tax bill, right?
This is where.
That's why we don't want
they're
those to be
going
bonds,
here.
just like.
Right.
You might wanna have this read.
Just our property.
But he's got a line that's dividing this,
You know what I mean?
you know.
Well, I didn't know if that would, did that,
Why didn't he service too?
that would be had to.
Exactly, because it's making a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's confusing me, because I was like, hang on. If you don't want them divided like that, then you, I mean,
If this line's erased off of here, then this becomes one lot.
Right.
why wouldn't you just allow her to use that without subdividing it and she'd have the availability in the future?
It's pretty. Come on now, we're not moving.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that.
No, like when you said when she inherits. Many, many years from now.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
he,
see, so you're only
he
giving.
provided this
She's
to
only
show you
giving that
what
one
was.
little corner lot.
So you might want to get this drawn up differently, in my opinion.
Because we are gonna get nailed for taxes for each lot, right?
Yeah, buildable
Instead of
lots.
one lot
See, now,
parcel.
what we had said unless they're registered, we wouldn't.
No. You have to prove yourself not to be able to do it.
But this
They just
plan is
proved that
showing
they did it.
3 lots. I mean, what's the application say?
So they drafted up what was possible, but
Exactly.
you wanted to present what you're trying to get accomplished.
Just for one
Exactly.
lot.
But what we have is if you sign off on this, this is basically giving you permission to build 4 lots.
Well, this one's already been
says-
approved.
Oh, that one's already approved, so 2 more lots on top of it. So now you're,
Well, 3, they got 3 ones.
right.
Maybe we should have it.
Yeah. So this works out easier.
Yeah.
So, it's just looking for lot 6-3, but it's still,
That's not what the map said. That's not what
It's
the
not
second
what it
says,
shows.
yeah.
yeah.
So it's like if he gave you just what you wanted to have drafted up rather than what was possible, we would be having a different conversation.
Well, this line that's going from the corner of the lot that you want to give your daughter down to the water is gone. It would be, this would be all one lot.
Yeah, so if you didn't,
It's just
if
that
you didn't have that one line, yeah, then this wouldn't be there and this wouldn't be there.
Because at some point, the rest of the Furnace Street property is gonna get attached to our existing property. We live right next door, so it will eventually be all
So is this where
one
they currently live?
or ours is now able to
Oh,
left.
they live here.
Right,
So, it makes sense.
yeah, and then you might even be able to do, hold on. You might even be able to apply for 61A.
Exactly. If they lower to, which is done with it.
Oh, and you know about 6 and how.
No, right now, but they're talking about, I was at the agricultural meeting, and they're talking about lowering it to 2. It's at the state right now.
Okay, but still,
Right.
but with this land added to yours,
Exactly.
you'd have.
It is
easy-
close, okay.
Oh, I forgot, you're on that committee, I heard that, yes. Okay. Interesting.
So the application, it says that we're just going for that one corner lot though, right?
Yes, it does. But it's confusing if you want to record this at the registry of deeds.
We haven't done that.
No, we have to do this
We have to do
first.
that.
Right, and then last time I brought it down.
I mean, if we sign this, we're signing this.
Yeah,
All
if we
together.
sign this, that you have 3 lots.
That's what I'm saying.
Right to living.
Guess who was right?
Take that as a win.
It's another.
Might be a loss for the night, but it's a win for the.
So you guys can just, we can put you on the agenda for the next meeting and you guys can have this updated in the meantime.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You're good with that.
Yeah, that's fine. It's-
I hate being right sometimes.
All right.
I'm gonna be Steve.
And that's not something that can be done like what we just did where if they get it fixed, we can come in and sign it. If we make the motion now so that they can get it before the next meeting, so they don't have to wait 2 weeks.
No, you're gonna have the plan to sign.
Okay. No, okay.
2 weeks is fine.
Okay.
We're gonna make them.
Trying to make the being right a little less of a burden.
No, it's nice being right.
I know what it's like.
I should say that.
Bask in it for 2 weeks. All right.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
thanks.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Good night.
That's it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.